All right, so here we are, Transference of Mental State by Joseph Rodrigues. Pretty powerful stuff.
And identify any limiting beliefs, interpretations that you have within yourself and change it. The first one is transference of mental state. Now, this is referring to interactions when it comes to dealing with people. So people externalizing our mental state. What we want to instill in our subconscious mind is beliefs that encourage an ideal state of mind. Now, when we work with our logical levels model, the state of mind can also be referred to as the identity. And as we have been discussing, the identity is made up of values, beliefs, and these values and beliefs offer clues as to the identity that we are embodying. And what we want to become is the identity that is one with the vision. One of the best ways to reveal what we are identifying with, our identity, is through interactions with others. Chances are on this journey to bringing forth your vision, you're going to be relating with others, dealing with others. Maybe your goal with this process is to cultivate ideal relationships, maybe personal relationships, business relationships, and so forth. And through the process, you're going to be interacting with people, dealing with people. The opportunity that we have when it comes to dealing with people, interacting with people, reveals different aspects of what's within our subconscious beliefs. There's a concept in neuro-linguistic programming called state. And the idea behind it is related to also another concept, which we call frame. And so if you've read certain books on the topic, or you've studied neuro-linguistic programming, then you'll know that when people interact, what they're doing is they're transferring or they're agreeing upon subconsciously a frame. A frame is something that governs the interaction between the individuals, whether it be one-on-one or group individuals and so forth. Something that I discuss in my communication program, but it's important to bring up here because it's going to be very revealing to us. So when we interact with people, we normally tend to feel, to an obvious degree or to a subtle degree, a deep engagement or a sense of tension and reactivity. These emotional experiences, or emotional integrations as I like to call them, are revealing to us how we believe reality to be. It is revealing our state of mind as well as our frame. In traditional communication, mainly in sales, we say those that have the dominant frame, as in the others are reacting to the individual with the dominant frame, tend to control the interaction. I would like you to develop a heightened degree of awareness and presence to observe this occurrence as you are interacting with people. Notice that the different people that you are interacting with them, sometimes you feel very resonant with them. You feel very connected with them, very flow-based with them. Or sometimes you feel tension and reactivity with them. What we're interested in is both. What's bringing us into flow so we can further encourage this in our process of environment, as well as we want to know what is causing the tension, knowing that it's our beliefs, our interpretations within, so that we can change them if we would like to change them. You don't necessarily have to change all of them. Just so we could be more in harmony with those that we interact with on the way to bringing forth our vision. So a mental state or a mental property is a state of mind of a person. We can also look at it as an identity, because if a person embodies a certain state of mind, then they become that state of mind and it becomes the identity. And contained within this identity is how we emotionally relate, how we interact, how we believe things to be, how we assume things to be. And so thus these mental states comprise a diverse class, including perception, pain experience, belief, desire, intention, emotion, and memory. Now, when it comes to relating with others, we can experience certain reactivity that brings forth to the surface beliefs that we have about ourselves in relation to others. For example, if you're into public speaking and you go to an event and you feel reactivity towards the audience, and we'll go into deeper elements in relation to reactivity in a moment. But let's say you feel tense towards an audience. You might start to notice that you believe certain things. Maybe you feel or you believe that you are not good enough. Or you think,
Okay, we're going to get back into this in a moment. Take a break here. But these are important states because you're a composite of these states. And subconsciously, because of past states and the emotional attachments to them, you are set up to program personally a certain way with other people. So let's begin again.
that others don't accept you, or that they're not going to value what you have to say. These are beliefs that we're holding, and these beliefs can create unnecessary friction in the performance. What we want to do is we want to journal these kinds of beliefs that we have. This is how we identify these limiting beliefs. As a matter of fact, identification of limiting beliefs is going to be a big part of our perspective shifts, and we got 5 of them here. Through the process of these perspective shifts, we're going to take the responsibility back, gain a higher degree of internal locus of control, and discover these limiting interpretations and beliefs so that we can change them when we get into subconscious mind work, which will be the self-talk, the revision, subconscious mind audios, and environment. So if a person feels reactive to communication and public speaking, now as we go through this process, we see it as an opportunity, optimization data, something that we can do about it. The same is to be said when it comes to one-on-one interactions with people. Say a person has a member on their team or in their company that they want this person to be harmonious towards the vision. Maybe it's an employee. But for whatever the reason may be, we find challenge as we are interacting with them. It seems to be a hostile, kind of tense situation when certain subjects are being brought up, certain conversations are had, maybe on the performance of the individual or something related to the responsibility of the role in the job. That again poses opportunity because we can understand what we are believing about ourselves. Do we believe ourselves to be capable of being an effective leader? Do we see the other person as potentiality to realize that skill that we're aiming to cultivate with them? And these beliefs, which is driving how we relate to them, our interactions with them, and the process of how we go about our workday, is something that we want to identify as we feel the reactivity in relation to. Now, what I've done is I have grouped reactivity and flow into the following emotions. So we're going to be working with emotions here when it comes to state transference. Emotions reveal our state of mind. And reactivity, we could say a person feels pessimism, overwhelm, frustration, doubt, worry, shame, discouragement, anger, insecurity, fear, or overthinking. And some of these things might be mental elements, but they are revealed in our tension or our reactivity and our emotions. The same is to be said about when we feel flow or fun and joy or deep engagement with who we are communicating with. Remember, transference of mental state, we're talking about dealing with others, relating with others as an opportunity for our growth, for changing the programming within our subconscious, for further building relationship with our subconscious. So passion, love, courage, enthusiasm, positive attitude, optimism, and embrace. These are ways that we can describe how we emotionally relate in a way that would be a ideal state of mind, and thus you would have the frame in the interaction. Now, this is nuance. It's not to say that a person can't be angry and have the frame. Certainly, we've seen people who have been angry have a dominant frame. What we're looking to do, however, is have more of a harmonious journey all the way to the end. So we want to work with things like maintaining a frame of love, courage, enthusiasm, positive attitude. Knowing that those kinds of dominant frames have an ability to not only own the frame interaction with the person, but transfer our mental state over to that person so we could deal with that person, interact with the person, relate with those people that we want to deal with, be it individual or group-based or public speaking, from the perspective of maintaining that state of mind, the identity that's reflective of the vision. So the examples that I gave are very true and relevant for leaders, those that want to become more effective in communication, public speaking, as well as many areas of life. Here are key attributes we want to keep into consideration. People reveal, reflect, and inspire our mental states and beliefs. So we're looking at reality as both revealing and inspiring at the same time. It's revealing our beliefs, and it's inspiring beliefs that we can identify with. When transferring a state over to another person, they will feel it and reflect it. So if you maintain a certain state, and it's a dominant frame, using the NLP terminology, as you maintain it, what you'll notice is the other person will feel it and reflect it. As we say in the sales space, the person with the dominant frame or the congruent frame will end up transferring that over to everyone else. All they have to do is maintain it. The maintaining it is not done from a place of force. It's done from a place of affirmation, subconscious belief affirmation. So thus we have opportunities here. We'll go through an exercise of how to work with this. We also draw in people who are aligned with the same mental state. Very important. If your goal is to build a business or bring forth a vision, and in the process, it's going to involve a number of relationships, which most likely it will, you want to draw in and bring forth the people that are in harmony with that mental state so that you can do this together from a place of flow. It's not to say that a person or a team or business won't have challenges. But remember, challenges are opportunities to observe what kind of beliefs that we are identifying with the people and change those beliefs so we no longer experience those challenges, but rather collaboration. So again, perception, experience, belief, desire, intention, emotion, and memory are attributes of a mental state, which we relate over to identity. So thus an identity has perceptions of different experiences. And since we're relating over to people, perception of different people in different circumstances, in different experiences, in different environments. Experiences are brought forth as a result of identity. And how we experience others is a result of identity. Our beliefs, what we desire to experience. A person may desire to leave the room if they feel reactive or tense, although that's not something that they truly desire. But that's something that is stimulated from more of a fight or flight response, because what they're really looking to do is communicate effectively. And as mentioned, we want to find the ideal desires that are in relation to the vision, convert that over to intention, pure intent to what to do next, and move forward with that on the way to the vision. Emotions. So we're paying extra attention to our emotions when we're interacting. For example, let's go to reactivity here. And I put these in categories so that it'll be easier to understand and digest and work with. Essentially what you're looking for when you're dealing with others is tension and reactivity. And it doesn't have to be no tension. What we're looking for is to the point where that tension gets too uncomfortable, because as you're dealing with others, especially in a business context where there's some deals on the table and there are complex deals and there's maybe a lot of money involved, it's natural to feel tension. What we want is to still maintain a frame or an ideal state of mind so that we can transfer our intent over to the other person, into the interaction, into the deal, favorable, mutual, beneficial way. Excessive tension can lead to reactivity. And what we're looking for is clues. So if we are experiencing shame, for example, a person might not feel that they're good enough to earn the substantial amount that is being presented as far as the offer goes. In other words, let's use an example. You want to do a deal with a client and it's going to cost them $50,000, but you've never charged $50,000 for a consulting deal before. And so maybe you conjure up in your imagination this idea that you are not good enough. You don't deserve it. You feel shameful to ask for the money. So we don't blame ourselves and we don't overwhelm ourselves because that will create further reactivity. What we want to do is note these things down after the interaction so that we can work with them by changing the subconscious programming within. So different interactions with people, what you want to do is inventory in relation to your vision. Don't have to do this with everybody, but this is one of the perspective shifts we want to have. Pessimism, overwhelm, frustration, doubt, worry, shame, discouragement, anger, insecurity, fear, overthinking. Where do these show up when we're interacting with people?
Great questions, and talking about frames that have already been established, talking about changing those frames and those mindsets as we do these things to be more harmonious, more beneficial, more win-win, and truly more positive, more harmonious for everybody involved. Now, do I believe that this is going to be easy? No. Do I believe this is going to be quick? No. Do I believe individuals may still try to wreck the party or mess up with things or be a pain in the butt? Yeah, because they're not really doing the things that you're doing. And you work with them the best you can, but you move on because you're not going to get stuck on one or two individuals. You're going to work with the majority of them and move on. That's what you have time to do, to be efficient and to be profitable. That's what you have to do. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't believe that these things shouldn't be more taught, more worked with, not twisted in the corporations. And a lot of times they are twisted in the corporations and manipulated to do these things. The employees are, but it is not really a win-win situation. You see abuse of this, these manipulations, psychologically and economically in way too many corporations. So these things can be abused also, and they often are. Good day.